Welcome back, everybody. Yesterday, just before the show, John got the chance to sit down with Congressman Rich McCormick to ask him his take immediately after the news broke that the alleged J6 pipe bomber had been arrested, as well as how Republicans are looking to fix America's healthcare system. Take a look.
All right, folks, joining us now, Georgia Congressman Rich McCormick, who's got some of the biggest and best ideas for getting America back on its feet. He, of course, represents the great state of Georgia. Congressman, great to have you on the show.
Great to be with you today. Appreciate you.
Back at you, sir. Real quickly, just a little top of the news day today. FBI, after 5 years, captures someone they believe is the January 6th bomber. They found him in Northern Virginia. New FBI comes in. They put a new team on it. In just a few short weeks, they solved something that the Chris Wray FBI couldn't. Just want to get your top-of-mind thoughts on where we are in that case and maybe just the reform of the FBI and overall.
Pretty incredible, actually. I have a bunch of buddies that were in the FBI at one time or another that were former Marines, so I have great respect for people who are critical of our intelligence gathering. Yes, it has been weaponized at times. Yes, there are bad actors. But I tell you what, we are so lucky that since 9/11, we really haven't had that level of attack in the United States because of a lot of hard work by a lot of great patriots who do round-the-clock things behind the scenes that are never appreciated. This is great, though, to see new leadership resulting in something very, very useful. I'll be curious to see what this guy they arrested is really about. I'm sure there will be conspiracy theories that this turns out to be a leftist that they never sought out or prosecuted. And quite frankly, I wouldn't be surprised at all because it seems like the left is increasingly violent. And then they blame us for being the violent people. It's the ultimate hypocrisy and misdirection that the left is so good at.
Yeah, it's amazing. If you just look at the last few weeks, the left seems to be on the side of the drug cartel, people bringing the boats across that are getting blown up. They're on the side of the illegal aliens who've committed heinous crimes. They seem to be on the side of people who are not in the interest of the American people. Are they reading their own constituents right?
Well, when you think about even the mass shootings in schools, and a lot of times are from trans community people who become violent because they're told all the time how we hate them. We don't hate them. I have great compassion for them, quite frankly. But what I don't want to do is go down a road that normalizes that, because I think that's also unhealthy. Hey, I want good things for you, but what the left continues to do is demonize us, calling us Nazis, dehumanizing us, making us the bad guys so that it's legitimate to kill us, to harm us, to torture us, to harass us. And that's all on them. I don't think I've ever had any rhetoric come out of my mouth that encourages any sort of that behavior against the left side. But I want to fight them with facts.
No, that's exactly right. And the facts are the most stubborn thing that we've got. You served so bravely in our military. You served in the emergency room as a doctor. There is a lot of question about whether we're doing things legitimately in Venezuela on the left. I think most Americans in the center and on the right totally lockstep with the president. But what do you think of the president's approach to Venezuela? Is it time we deal with this country?
I think we need to deal with this in a couple different ways. First of all, I love the fact that we're playing hardball. If you do, there's a great passage in the Bible that says, but if you do wrong, you should fear, for the soldier is an angel of wrath to carry out God's punishment. And we are on the side of righteousness. When you come here, imagine any war that cost America 1 million lives. We've never had a war like that, by the way. Never had a war that even came close to that. This war has cost us 1 million lives. If you're going to go against a principality that's bringing drugs here that could kill 100,000 in one shipment, that certainly ruin millions of people's lives per year, even the people who don't die. I mean, you have 100,000 people die, but the millions of people that are touched in negative ways, you are coming here to prosecute war. You deserve what you get. I don't feel bad for these people at all. I don't believe, it reminds me of The Princess Bride. If they're out in the middle of the waters, in the middle of nowhere, eel-infested waters, you're not just a fisherman boat. You're speeding here with a big cargo load of drugs to do harm on the American people. You're going to be taken out. We have great intelligence showing you're a bad guy. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out on the re-attack assertion that they reasonably did. I know that some of our upper level guys have already been briefed on it. I've requested a secret brief on this to find out what the Rear Admiral was thinking and making sure we're inside the ethical bounds of what we do. But I don't feel bad for these people. And we've all along the history of warfare, we've always gone after bad guys here and abroad. I'm worried about the boots on the ground a little bit because I don't want to lose American lives. Ultimate solution to this is teach your kids from the time they're 3 years old that when you buy drugs, Yeah, you may overdose. Yeah, you may die, but really you're supporting rapists, child traffickers, human traffickers, people who take over entire countries and put their people into poverty just because you bought their drugs. You're doing that. And people won't buy drugs anymore. It won't be cool. It won't be worth the high. And then we'll get rid of the demand and everything else crumbles from there.
That is a winning strategy, ending that demand by just educating the public about who their dealers really are. It'd be a powerful thing. You wore that uniform. I wondered what you thought. Now, I'm going to have the opportunity now to ask you when you heard 6 senators suggest that men and women might have been getting illegal orders from President Trump and therefore should ignore them. What ran through your mind when you heard that?
Tradition. If you think about what we do for a living, and everybody's well briefed on what's legal and not legal, everybody understands what's moral and immoral. Everybody's already told you don't follow illegal orders. But for them to basically infer, first of all, that they're illegally, and then secondly, infer that they should stand up and resist against their commander in chief, and then I have your back. That was the most dishonest statement of all. We have your back. You don't have their back. If you resist a legal order, a lawful order, and that's what they're insinuating, is that when you make a moral objection to what the president is doing because of maybe a political reason, we'll make sure that you're taken care of. You will not. You will be a headline on the news. You'll talk about, oh, I'm going to fight for you. And a week later, guess what? You're on to the next topic. And those military people who disobey that lawful order will be prosecuted. They will be under court-martial. They will lose their retirement. They'll lose their place in history. And you will not have their back. That's a dishonest argument. Shame on them. They should literally be embarrassed of themselves because they are, first of all, their insinuation. And secondly, that they don't have their back. For them to say that they're going to cover them when they do something, they take a political stand, because that's all this is. This isn't a legal stand. This is a political stand. We'll have your back. No, you won't. Dishonest.
Yeah, well said. So you're leading on so many important issues in Congress. One of them is procurement reform in the Pentagon. Another is working on our medical system, something close to your heart as a doctor. You've got a very important bill you're working on, the Medical Professional Access Act. Tell us a little bit about that and why it's important to the reform we need to give our healthcare system.
And this doesn't affect everybody every day, but when there's an emergency, if you need doctors to come across state borders and be qualified without all the rigmarole, the legal regulation, the things that hold us up from getting things done when there's an emergent condition, it gets rid of all that. Quite frankly, I've worked in several different states. The state requirements aren't that different, but the accreditation has to be done for each and every state, just like a lawyer. But if we're in an emergency and you need me to come in as an ER doc and help out people, there should be no barriers. You need me there. The Good Samaritan Act should always cover us, but let's get rid of that. Let's just make it legal for me to go across the state boundary and actually help somebody in need when you have that catastrophe. It's pretty simple bill. It should be bipartisan, non-controversial. I also want to point out that we met with the speaker and the leader today on the future of healthcare in America. Really important discussions on how to keep it accountable, how to tack down our premiums. But by the way, anybody who thinks that Medicare supplementation is going to solve it, it makes a 4% difference on an 18% hike would then be only 14% hike, and only for 7% of the population is going to affect. So literally it's 4% increase more on just 7% of the people. So that's how minuscule this is. If you really want to solve healthcare, get rid of all the regulatory burden, the barriers they do for competition. If you look at what the insurance companies are doing, they are bad actors. They make up a significant portion of the Fortune 500, the top 10. They're making 230% more profit than they did before the Affordable Care Act. They deny a third of all claims, and they're accepting hundreds of thousands of false claims. In other words, false policies where they're getting paid and they never have to pay it back. They don't have to have a penalty. And it's funny, for a third of all claims to be denied during a case where we have electronic medical records, scribes, coders, me spending lots of hours after to make sure it's airtight, and then to get away with a third of all denials, or to deny a prove standard of care procedure, and yet they can get away with receiving money because they have no accountability for accepting a policy with a false social security number, a false identity. They have no problem with that, and there's no penalty for that. We have a lot of reform to do in medicine to keep us accountable because we're the ones paying the price. The average family now pays over $30,000 a year for a family of 4 for healthcare insurance. That's stupid, incredible stupid. And we need to get to the bottom of this real quick because we have the most unaffordable healthcare system in the world, and the Affordable Care Act accelerated that times 10. Shame on us. Your insurance premium has gone up by 90% since the beginning of the Affordable Care Act. Doctors make 30% less, and it's sending us into ruin right now. Thank you, Democrats, for making that policy.
Yeah, those are the real statistics too. Sir, real quickly before they go, I heard in your voice the notion that competition is a way to solve this. Breaking down some of these state cartels, allowing insurers to compete across state lines, is that something that Republicans might offer in a bill?
That's a huge part of it. And actually, the Senate and Congress are kind of getting back on the same page again, which I'm really excited about. Also allowing to just have catastrophic insurance. Imagine that. Obama took that right away from you at any age, basically saying, hey, look, I'm only going to use my insurance for catastrophic. It's like using your car insurance the way you do right now. If I get in a car wreck, you cover me. But if I don't, you're not changing my car oil. You're not changing my blinker. You don't change it when I get a flat tire. If you did, your insurance premium for your car would be absolutely unaffordable. And yet that's what they required us to do with healthcare. So they could take the most healthy individuals and make them pay a premium to cover all the unhealthy people. And it just wasn't fair. It's really the whole incentive of having Medicaid and Medicare. We need to get back to the basics, make it affordable for all Americans, not just 7%, decrease it by 4% of a premium, where you're still having double-digit increases for everybody in America because of the bad actors. We need to get past that and do what's right for America.
A lot of common sense in what you're all working on now. That is going to be welcomed by the American people. Congressman Rich McCormick, always an honor to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. I hope you have a blessed Christmas. Semper Fidelis, my friend.
Yeah, and thank you for your service, sir. We are grateful for it and the continued service. All right, folks, what a great interview. Quick commercial break. More right after these messages.